Okay, why did no one tell me that Daredevil was this good? I had no idea. I looked at a couple issues, I think, of Charles Charles Schulz's run and the recent Marvel Legacy, Marvel all new different, Marvel Now, whatever they're calling it now, or whatever they called it then. It gets confusing every couple months. They keep on revamping, rebooting everything. I can't keep up with it. But Frank Miller's run is pretty cool. I had constantly heard people were saying, yeah, if you're reading Daredevil, if you want to get into Daredevil, you got to read Frank Miller's run, or Ann Nessendi's run. Those are like the two um, writers that they always say, or artists, since Frank Miller did the art. I think later on he started writing in the later 80s, mid 80s or something like that. But people always say, like, those are the runs you want to read. I think there was also the man, the one where Kingpin blows up his apartment and his secret identity gets released to the public. I think that was also by Frank Miller. And I think I'm definitely going to try to pick that up when I get the chance after reading this. And I think something I've noticed is that a lot of us are suffering from event fatigue, where every couple weeks, and is it every couple? It feels like it's every couple weeks. There's a new event going. I think there's the whole Marvel Venom symbiote thing going on with the Venom comic crossover and Dan Slott's Spider-Man. It's like a 7-issue event, and from what I've seen, it's already, I think 2 issues in, is already falling apart. And I think looking back, what made those comics so good is that when an event happened, it was a big deal because it didn't happen every month or so. So you could tell that this was something that was going to be special. And to make a really good story, you don't need to have big things happening. You don't need to have, oh, here's a new big villain. There's going to be the X-Men fighting the Avengers, and then the Avengers are fighting each other, and Carol Danvers is going up against Tony Stark. And it's this huge thing because this Inhuman who's so convoluted and his powers have never been correctly explained, but go ahead for the story, is just nobody cares. But I think in these few issues that I've read, it shows how Matt Murdock struggles with trying to live a personal life. I think that's what separates him from Batman, because I know a lot of people call him the poor man's Batman, but I mean, to a certain degree, it's true. He's a vigilante, fights at night. He believes in not killing, whatever. He's like, no, we let the justice system work it out and whatnot. But I think the difference is that he just trying to live a normal life, or as normal as he can, while fighting crime at night. So there's some things that go wrong with that. Constantly, his loved ones get caught in danger. He's not always sure of himself, which is difference between him and Batman. Batman's always, this is how things are. This is what I'm gonna do. This is my way. Nobody can distract me from that, or anyone can change my mind. Even Alfred will try to warn him. It's like, hey man, you need to pull it together. He's like, no, not now, Alfred. Even with the Justice League, he's come in conflict with them because they're like, you've gone too far, but he always sticks to his convictions. And I think Matt Murdock is more relatable because even in this last issue I read, it had to deal with Bullseye breaking out of some mental hospital, and everyone he sees looks like Daredevil. So he's just taking out folks in the middle of the streets, and he sees somebody that looks like Daredevil, but it's like some old man walking with some groceries and a cane. He takes them out. Couple other innocent bystanders, and it continues on where Matt's trying to hunt him down, and one of the cops is like, look, we got to take this guy out, and he's like, no, it's not up to us, we can't execute people. But there's a moment in there which I really love. There's a panel in there where they end up falling in the subway, and he's like, I'm too weak, I can't deal with this. And there's a split moment where he's like, if I just leave and let the train hit Bullseye, it'll end everybody's problems. The guy's just going to break out and hurt more people, so maybe he deserves to die. And for a brief moment, he's about to let him die, but he pulls himself. It's like, I can't do this. I can't allow people to be executed no matter how bad they are. But I think what I loved about it is that, yeah, Batman's had situations where he's been tempted, like when Jason Todd died and whatnot. But I think it humanizes him a lot more than other heroes, because Daredevil, yeah, he's got enhanced senses because he's blind, but he's not Spider-Man. He can't bend metal with his bare hands. I mean, there have been times, depending on whether they did power or not, Spider-Man's punching holes in brick walls and stuff like that, bending metal. Daredevil, you shoot him with a bullet. That's it. A piece of a wall falls on him. He's dead. That's the end of him. So it shows he's human, and he's constantly day to day barely scraping by, being this mass vigilante, but also him being an attorney and him trying to balance his personal life with his friends, and how sometimes he's not always successful. And I think that's what's endearing about him, is that Matt Murdock, a lot like Spider-Man, are those characters that get dragged through the mud, but no matter how difficult things are, they're still like, hey, I can't give in, I gotta keep on moving on. And I think that's one of the biggest difference between just SJW Marvel. Nobody goes through conflicts. Nobody goes through things to make them a better person. It's like they make the characters where they can't be designed to fail, and that's just not the reality of it. Everybody goes through things where they make mistakes. Sometimes they royally mess up, but they learn from those mistakes and they grow as a person. And I just wish we got that storytelling back. Maybe it'll start to happen later on with Marvel. And I'm not trying to sound like always harping on Marvel, but they do have a lot of problems. But they have a couple books that are pretty interesting. Ed Brisson and John Mallon's run of Cable's been pretty fun with the nostalgia. Ed Pisker's X-Men Grand Design's been pretty cool. Let's see, Marvel 2-in-1. It was one issue in, so I don't want to get too excited. It's been pretty good. It shows they're not just one-dimensional people. Hey, I'm, a black guy, and my only character trait is I'm black, and I do black things. It's like, no, you're a complex character. You have, struggles like anybody else, but you overcome them. You're more than just, one character trait. So that's some of my thoughts. I'm gonna have to definitely binge some more